Today we've come to Plymouth to look at some new Jenoptik speed camera installations across the city. Reducing speed limits in residential and urban settings is one of the most effective and economical ways to make streets safer and more pleasant. Timo Thornton is Jenoptik's account manager for the south of England.
We work very closely with the police or the authorities who are installing a new scheme. I guess the main thing to do is to find out what they're trying to achieve from the scheme, because sometimes what they think they're looking for might not be what they actually need in order to deliver the road safety benefits that they're looking for. So, you can deliver a scheme using a mixture of technologies sometimes, as we did with the old Lara Road scheme. Or it can just be an average speed or just a pair of static sights or something like that.
There are new schemes coming to Devon and Cornwall, as well as upgrades to existing systems which have successfully delivered big reductions in road traffic injuries. Adrian Leask is head of road safety for Devon and Cornwall Police. He sees driver behaviour change as a key contributor to safer roads.
Devon and Cornwall Police are part of the Vision Zero partnership, which has an ambition to eradicate road death by 2040. So part of that is creating an enforcement posture which encourages drivers to reflect and holds them to account for their behaviour. So create that posture which creates that, what they call the dread of detection, that fear of being caught that comes into play with our wider behavioural change strategy.
And according to Adrian, this is where the cameras have such an important role to play.
Part of that is creating a mobile and a static camera presence that enables us to enforce effectively. And working alongside Jenoptik, we've been able to introduce bi-directional camera systems that enforce speed whilst on red light systems, and average speed systems. Our average speed systems have advantages over engineering works in that they don't inconvenience the community, they don't damage the environment, and they achieve almost overnight 99% compliance with the speed limit. So most schemes we bring in, the change in behaviour is immediate.
Timo Thornton took us to Old Lara Road, where a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit is now enforced by Jenoptik technology.
The Old Lara Road installation came about as a result of the council realising that there was still a problem with speeds along the road, despite there's been a long-term 20-mile-an-hour limit through here. There was still a speeding problem. The residents were unhappy about it because some of the footpaths here are very narrow. The road itself is very narrow in places. Cyclists were being overtaken dangerously and things like that. So the council went to put traffic calming in. So they put out planning notices for a number of speed ramps. The local residents said, no, we don't want these. We don't want speed bumps. We don't want bumps outside our houses with people thumping across them at all times of the day and night. Can't we have average speed cameras instead? Plymouth City Council said, well, if the police will enforce it, we'll put them in. They went to the police. The police said, yes, it's a legal speed limit, so we can enforce it.
In another part of town, we met a clergyman who'd been detected speeding by a new camera and was happy to tell his story.
I'm Father Peter Morgan. I'm a retired priest living around here, not 3 streets away. And a few weeks ago, perhaps 7 weeks ago, something like that, I must have been caught on this very thing there. And a few days later, obviously, I got a thing in the post saying I have a summons in the post, etc. And I decided they offered me an opportunity to go on a course thing or whatever. And I chose to go on the course, which was in a hotel here in Plymouth. One morning at 7:45, I was told it would last 2 hours, and it did. And it was actually very interesting. I thought very good, quite informative, and I learned quite a lot from it. And it's done a very good thing because it makes me look at my speedometer quite regularly.
Adrian Leask is quick to emphasise the importance for the police to work with private sector partners who understand what they're trying to achieve.
We need to work with competent suppliers who we develop a really good relationship. They suggest technology within the limits of the Home Office type approval system, but by using companies like we're using at the minute with Jenoptik, they are type approved at 20 mile an hour. They can enforce in both directions on one pole. They can enforce red light infringements on the same cameras. So the flex and the ability, the innovation that's come into it has enabled us to create a much more aggressive enforcement posture.
Adrian acknowledges the difficulties involved in reaching zero casualties, but this does not deter him or his partners from putting in 110% effort to change behaviour and save lives.
Well, this was a collective ambition from our local authorities, the 4 local authorities across Devon and Cornwall, the Fire and Rescue Services, the police, the Office of Police and Crime Commissioner, coming together and saying, look, this is worrying. The number of people killed or seriously injured has plateaued. It hasn't reduced. Then actually some academic work done by Agilicis and the Towards Zero Foundation actually said that the 4 local authorities in Devon and Cornwall areas are least likely, out of the top 10 in the country, the least likely to achieve Vision Zero. So we had an uphill challenge, but we're ready to take on that challenge. We work incredibly effective as a partnership. We share resource, share ideas, work very much in a joined up way. And our ability to influence outcomes is far greater by working together.